Hello everybody and welcome back. I am Mr. JP, playing some more Out of Ore, and yeah, sorry about the delay on entry there. Stupid mute button. Anyway, um, thank you all for joining me. Thank you all of those out there hitting the subscribe button. Like, wow, the response has been amazing. Great to see some of the comments. Big shout out to everyone who subscribed, commented. Big shout out to all the new viewers as well. Quite a lot of new folks having a look, which is kind of cool too. So yeah, wow. Like, I find it kind of a bit shocking because to me, it's going to sound a bit weird. I've always considered the internet to be a bit of a kind of like fake place. Never really been that interested in it. Never really did the YouTube thing. Finding that it's full of real people has been a real eye-opener for me, so thank you very much for that, guys. Appreciate it, really do. Bit of new life experience for me in a rather bland couple of years of my existence, so yeah, giving me something to do and a reason to live again. Thank you very much, appreciate it. So today, yeah, in Out of Ore, I am extending the strip mine and just taking out some pay dirt at the moment from the ceiling. Still having a debate with myself whether to actually fully open the roof. I haven't really decided, but as you can see, this hole, just curling the bucket as you come into contact with pay dirt, really does produce a lot of voxel balls. Excuse me, coughing away and spluttering. High pollen count today, filling me up with muck. But yeah, so this method, I'm not sure what the volumes are involved. I know that the bucket of the small 500 is meant to be 8 tons, and this bucket is at least double that. I'm guessing that the 1600s 16 is a volumetric reading of 16 cubic meters in the bucket. This one's a 20 something, and if that's the case, then I mean, yeah, a cube is 2 by 2 meters by 2 meters, so I'm taking out about 4 wide. So that's an 8 meter cut wide, and the bucket's a block high. So yeah, it wouldn't be an unreasonable sort of figure in yeah, probably cubic centimeters, 2,300 or something, but it might be 23 tons, who knows. But either way, if the bucket's 23 tons, normally with a bucket to shift the kind of amounts that I'm shifting at the moment, you've got to consider it's normally a couple of bucketfuls to a dumper, maybe a little more. I haven't actually had the big dumpers out, I really must have a play. Dumpers are great, they're a lot of fun, they're a lot of roleplay fun. However, all the time you're dumping and driving stuff around, you're not digging. And that's why I don't play much with them at the moment. It's because I want to make a big hole. So any time spent not digging is time wasted in this game dynamic, I guess. So yeah, that's why I'm using conveyor tables that cost a bomb. But considering I'm sat on 140 million, the $500,000 for 100 conveyors is really not a big deal. But at some point I do need to tidy this mine up, take some conveyors out, put in some ramps for running machinery around on, and get a bit more decorative, because currently this is like fully industrial. Absolutely fully industrial. For those who have pointed out the beeping noise when I'm digging, it is definitely feedback, something to do with the keyboard and the interface between where the sound recording mics plug in and everything. I think they're all on a common earth, so I'm getting a keyboard with some extended USB cables, so I can plug those in at the back and the sound at the front, and hopefully that should solve the problem. So we are working on it, been doing some other gaming, been messing around with some am I allowed to talk about other games in an Out of Ore video? Ooh, good question. Well, I'm going to. Yeah, I've been messing around with some Space Engineers, and I also mess around a little bit in Railroads Online. So if anyone has any interest in those things, pipe up, say, let me know what you want to see. But back to the Out out of ore. I've also done a bit of a machine mod, which I'll take you through in a minute. We'll just finish clearing some of this out because it needs doing. I've also been learning about explosives and how they work. If you put them on an inverted or a vertical surface, they tend to blow it out. But if they're on a horizontal surface like an inclined slope rather than an overhang, they tend to convert it into the stone. So depending on the effect you want, depends how you want to lay them. This could get interesting later on as I start playing with excavators. We could have a lot of fun with those. So yeah, especially on this dirt layer above me that's going through to the terrain. You can drill through it with the drill and place explosives and do all sorts. It gets a bit fun. But yeah, currently, as you can see, I'm hacking through this area of dirt, mix and pay dirt, and just pushing it into the conveyors continuously. Since they are pretty much clog proof, some of this will go down to the ground floor and start backing up because I'm near the edge. As you can see there, it's just all falling away. I've done that deliberately. I'll clear it up with the machines down lower later on. Mainly because there's a lot of dirt mixed in there as well, so it's not a big deal. The real money's in this side, this left-hand edge where it gets a bit deeper. And as you can see, there was a bit of jerking there, and that is the terrain reforming. That happens on terrain reform. If you get a lot of that and you're wondering why, it's possibly a dodgy bit in your production machine where you've got a clog or two conveyors that aren't joined together and the terrain's starting to build up as you mine. As I found out the other day, I really must put that piece of footage up if I kept it as a bloopers reel, but I may have erased it. But yeah, I buried my machine in a mountain of material. I took some photos. But yeah, it was one of those that I had to clear up at the time, and I forgot to film it. I should have filmed it. I filmed the start of it, but I didn't film me finding out that my machine had turned into a Mount Everest of material. So yeah, interesting things from the world news today. Turns out that owning and flying a private plane in Russia is a bit dangerous if you're hated by Putin. I don't know who took that plane down. There's such a list of potential people. It's unreal. If the Ukrainian, it wouldn't put it past me if the Ukrainians actually took their aircraft down, because at the end of the day, the bloke's a Ukrainian war criminal for things he's done or his military have done in that theatre. You've got to remember, as a commander, you're kind of responsible for what your troops do. So yeah. The fact that he wasn't willing to pay for the war because Putin said he'd pay him and then told him that it was his problem. Could be Putin just removing enemies. And we all know that Russian anti-aircraft systems do not have the ability to identify a civilian airliner. So it might just be that, someone forgot to file a flight plan which made that aircraft an unidentified bogey in an area of high risk, so it was shot down. Because it didn't respond on radio or something, because it was set to the wrong frequencies. Who knows? These things happen. If you've got any interest in the military and in the first of the Gulf Wars in 1991, you will know probably a book by Andy McNabb called Bravo 20. And that entire accident happened because the Americans gave Bravo 20 the radio codes for an AWACS that was 100 kilometers beyond range for their radios, so they went to call in that they were in trouble, and of course there was no one listening, which is a shame. 5 guys dead because of it, which is a shame. Everything that I've done involving that kind of thing has been to save lives, mostly my sides, but hey, you can only worry about 50% of the people 50% of the time. Bit like that old saying, you know how stupid the average person is? Just remember, half of them are dumber than that. So yeah, and when I say how dumb the average stupid person is, I'm as dumb as the rest of them. I'm pretty smart sometimes, but at the end of the day, as I go to the walk out of any room, there is a good chance I'm going to hit my head on that door frame. So, it doesn't matter how smart you are, eventually something is going to bite you. Possibly because smart people play with things that bite more often. But having seen people who could not be rated as smart getting bitten by petrol cans at campfires. Yeah, perhaps I'm wrong and there is no limit as to who will play with what. Um, quite interestingly enough, for a little while back there was an incident I believe it was Ukraine, where two children at a show got hold of an RPG at the military display that was there for, you know, recruitment and to tell people about things in the war and that kind of thing. And they started looking at it and handling it, and it went off. It was a live one. Um, and this was sort of, you know, it was snigger worthy until we realised what had actually happened, because we originally thought it was a Russian event, and it wasn't. It was Ukrainian. Um, and we sort of looked into it and we got the details, and we were just like quite horrified, as you could imagine. Like, how could someone in the military make that kind of safety mistake? And then we realised how common they were with our research. Anyhow, this led on to another friend going to a military sales location and finding something live there, which he pointed out to the owner, and it's all been disposed of and sorted out. It's fine. However, he was like, "Oh my god, it's so shocking! How could they do that, rah?" And we just sort of like referenced the news references to what had happened, and he sort of looked at that and gone, "Oh. So this is more common than it looks." We were like, "Yeah." So yeah, there are, unfortunately, due to the troubles in the world, far too many live munitions running around for my liking. Everyone in the West seems to be sending weapons to Ukraine. However, we in the UK have got a little problem with people from Eastern Europe sending weapons back from Ukraine to the UK for criminals to use, which is kind of ironic. They intercepted a batch of like 8 rocket launchers and stuff, and they were manufactured less than a month, and they'd gone to Ukraine and they'd come back. So yeah, the turnaround time on some of these things is quite impressive, and that's one of about 10-15 examples of these things happening in the news. So yeah, it's a bit crazy, So I've moved down onto this lower deck. Sorry, I'm digging away and just talking away to myself, because this game is therapeutic in a lot of ways. I mean, it's very repetitive and boring, don't get me wrong. However, I'm making a certain amount of distance through here. Bit of terrain reform there because I'm on the ends of the conveyors. This is sort of the edge wall of my mine at the back corner here, which I'll just go to the map. This is the machine I'm running at the moment here, down at the bottom here. And as you can see, I'm like right under the coal plant and in line with this lithium seam, so eventually I'm going to hit the rich stuff, but it's a long way. So yeah, I'm just going to gently sort of clear out down here. And there's several ways of digging these. You can dig end on, sort of the way I'm looking now, in line with your conveyors, or you can go side on like this. Both have their merits. The end-on method means that you quite often will more evenly load a multi-machine built like this one. This method here means you quite often end up filling just 1 or 2 channels, which can be useful too if you want to concentrate sort of the mining efficiency, as it were, to or the way the content goes through, as it were, to just 2 machines. But because of the way it works out, sometimes you can accidentally end up doing that, and so you've got 2 machines backed up and the others running, and not, you know, they're not doing anything. Just depends how it works out really across the floor. Sorry about the crazy camera angle there. Getting trapped in the wall. Must avoid that. I could add some conveyors down at the end here. You can see how much these big machines struggle when they get into rough terrain. They are a smooth terrain vehicle. I wouldn't say they're designed to run on these conveyor floors, but they do it very well. But yeah, it is definitely a matter of getting the bulldozers and roller out if you're going to use these in the open pit scenarios, as it were. just start going and pushing in like that. Most of it's ending up in the conveyors, and that's the point here. You can see the struggle I'm having with that rock face, so there'll be some blasting in a minute. Definitely going to be some blasting. I'm in an explosive mood. Like I say, this game is very therapeutic, but it's only because I get to blow stuff up. I haven't shot at anything in a computer game in a little while, so I might have to do some of that in 7 days or something. Get me some zombie hunting in. So yeah, dug a bit of that out. Let's go and have a look at that machinery like I said I was going to do. Okay, so get rid of that. Right. It's the average machine still. I've moved it a little bit to the right so that I could get a bit more space. Come here, divide, wash plant, into the sorting drum, over the top, into the jaw crusher for all the rocky stuff, through the fractioner, and then dirt goes off away from us in those low conveyors, and everything else comes this way into this hopper system. Which I'm kind of disturbed isn't running. Okay. There's the gravel that I was just digging coming through. It takes a while for stuff to make it round all these conveyors. So, in a sec, right, there we go. On the far end, on the left, is a hopper for the rocky material from the stone and the jaw crushers, the fractioner profit side. This one here is gravel, and the one in the middle is the gold. And that equates to the conveyors that are up at the top. So as you can see, the pay dirt that I just dug is coming through and being washed. There's a bit of gravel coming through there. Go to the map. Let's rescue me up to the top. And up here, gold, gravel, coal would come through on the far right. Gold comes in on the middle one. And all of the other profitable materials come in on the left one of these top three. Now, I've been thinking about deleting these chutes. Because I'm not sure if they're limiting the process or not. I'm not sure if I like the look, and they might have to go if I start running dumpers into here. So, on the subject of dumpers, I keep on talking about them. Let's go to the store. So, I've just gone into the dumpers menu. These are the 3 standard dumpers that were in the game before, and that says the low capacity is 20 tonnes on the 20, and this is what I meant about the numbers and volumes. And that one's got 40 for the AT40, so I'm assuming that this one's like in the 80s or something. Oh, 345 tonnes. That has to be looked into. Okay. Okay, it's a big truck. Got to admit that's a big truck. It's so short. It's so manoeuvrable. Okay, I can see these having their place. I can also see a custom dump site for them at this rate. Okay. So get in. Tip. How far does the tip go? Okay. Yeah, might be able to make it with that. Okay. See what it's like off-road. Am I a crazy fool? Yes, I am. I'm going down the ramp. This is never going to work. Yeah, there we go. Ah, okay. So you have to run into trees at ground level to knock them over. It would. Oh, what? Okay. No. Wow. 345 ton capacity dumper, and it's struggling to knock over trees. That's interesting. So I found out one thing, but we'll get down there. okay. So there's no pounding out a fresh road with the dumper. Because I'm having some serious tree issues. Guys, this dumper needs a bumper. Dumper definitely needs a bumper. Let's bring it down onto... Since I can get to it. He says as he clips a tree in. I mean, come on. My Land Rover will deal with those trees. Jeez. Well, it would do if it didn't have plastic bumpers. I mean, what the hell, Land Rover? What are we thinking? You had it right with the Defender. Build in metal. Now you're giving the Defender license to somebody else. Fools. Utter fools. Right. So, got a dump truck down here. Just for a little bit of roleplay. We'll have a little bit of a giggle here. Oh, that. Up about there. That was lucky. Not that you could be injured by collapses, but you know. It's always a good idea not to be under a falling rock face. Just as a lifestyle preference. So I just put those in so that when I spill stuff. Interesting, because there's a lot of balls lying around in the back of the dumper. You start to see a bit of lag and delay. Interesting. So it's the physical quantity of the number of balls when blasting that are giving the problems. Yeah, well, at least we know. And because of the load lock, I can't nudge the load around. It just pushed my vehicle back whilst locking that lot in that position. That's quite funny. Okay. I'm starting to see why I don't mess around with dumpers. If this load doesn't unload, I'm going to be a really unhappy bunny. No. Yeah, okay. Load lock on dumpers definitely needs some work. Could have some advantages later on though with something that I was going to do. Now I know about that, I might just do it for fun factor. But 5 blocks wide was a good idea. Okay, at least I got that right. Dev, we need a bigger loader for the dumper. But okay, that's the dumper loaded up. To say the least. Let's clear some more of this material down for a laugh. Since it's all gotta go, all gotta go. Yeah, I'm definitely seeing frame rate drop because that dumper's there and loaded. So that's something to be remembered. Is if you leave a lot of loaded dumper trucks around, you're gonna have some lag. By the looks of things. Here comes the autosave. Back out of that. Autosave may take a little while with all these conveyors here. The more complicated your world is, the longer it's going to save, I think. Because I started a new world just to check this, and the autosave went by almost, not unnoticeably, but it was almost unnoticeable compared to that one. So yeah, and I sort of was thinking, I'm sure these are getting longer as I play, and they are. So definitely some major lag from having the dumper in. That's going back in the garage, possibly. Yeah, I won't sell it, I'll keep hold of it for the moment. But it is huge, so could come in very useful for what I'm going to do later on, actually. Yeah, there we go, that's that terrain forming underneath that I was saying about and the lag. It's because of that. We can soon get rid of some of that. This is what I think that the grader and the dozer are going to be good for, is cleaning tables and keeping stuff sort of clear later on. Definitely more for people who aren't using conveyor tables. I've got a feeling getting skilled with them might be the solution to getting machines into this mine as well. I'm going to have to build some ramps or something. I'll figure it out. Machine appears to be doing alright. Okay, so we've got some rogue balls flying off. That's a bit of fun. Lag. 20 frames a second. And that's all pay dirt, so luckily we shouldn't get the crazy overspill on the hopper. But, so yeah, this is what I mean about the gold hopper. This is from the wash plants. I know what might be overfilling, and that's the dirt hopper, which is down this path over here. I am slowly building a building here, by the way. It's coming together organically, I think would be the correct term. Yeah, this is something that I've had with blasting, is this hopper overfilling. It hasn't overspilt yet by the looks of things though. But yeah, dumper trucks appear to cause lag. So that is going back to the garage. Might just expand this hopper slightly. Looking at that. Oh, defo. That's getting near the full fall. And as the height of that pile gets up to the height of the conveyors, it'll start pushing it in this direction, because this is what happens over in the gravel hopper when there's a bit of an overfill problem. So, but with those going like that, unless I piled a lot of dirt out, there should be a lot of stuff running out the gold conveyor. When it starts collecting it, there's some other stuff coming out there as well. As you can see, that pile of gravel here is part of the incident where everything overspilled. Other bits of it have been flattened and dug out, but yeah, there was a large scale accident. It was industrial. The gold's really pouring out. That's going pretty well, really. Which means that if I go up here, oh, oh, oh. Hehehe, 14 frames a second. Okay, so dumping that dumper really didn't help. This could take a little while to work out. This is what happened when I did an absolute metric F ton of blasting. And eventually I had a problem up here where the stuff was bouncing out here, as you can see on the floor. And it's all over the floor there as well. This is what I mean by I had some serious overflow trouble. And the dumper truck appears to have caused a similar problem. That's fascinating. And this frames per second problem is because of the amount of balls being generated. They're sat in these hoppers and really building up quite a lot for rich stuff. When the frames per second does come up, it's going to throw stuff out the top of the conveyor. Oh dear. No. No, no. No, 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 no. Like an internet meme. Ah, well. We'll just put some roofing on the edge of there where it's leaking. Ooh, a bit difficult to position with the lag, but by doing this it's just going to stop the earth from backfilling and blocking the hopper, mainly. Don't think I'm going to be doing any blasting for a few minutes, so won't worry about having explosives on the inventory. This is all just temporary. I'll probably be expanding this hopper, I reckon. Oh, that's a problem. There's no floor down there. That's bad news. But this should at least stop the majority of the falling off leak. And then eventually when the hopper's empty enough, everything that's up here will end up down the bottom here and get collected up and go into the hopper again. Yeah, it will eventually end up back in the hole. But until that point in time, we just put in some walls. For safety purposes. Stop you getting buried in the hopper. Okay, dumper trucks are doom. Dumper trucks are doom for frames per second, people, just so you know. What I could do is expand the underside of that dirt hopper like I have the other one, so that as it gets full it flows over into another one. I may well do that. Since that's what it's trying to do to itself over here anyway. It's going to go down here and check for any clogging problem. As you can see, I hand dug all of this out, which is what I am going to do again once I turn that torch off. There we go. And just dig out the underside of that, because I can expand this hopper and I think I'm going to have to. It's unfortunate, but it's the way it's going to have to go. There we go. And that's how you get yourself out of a situation. Yes, I'm essentially fitting the hopper with hungry boards. For those who don't know what a hungry board is, they're bits of wood you put in a wheelbarrow to make it bigger. Very useful. Yeah, if you fall into a vat of balls like this, by the way, it's a bad day. Just so you know. Doesn't necessarily go as well as you might think. That's all I'm going to say on the matter. And to turn a tile, just hold down the right mouse button and move it left and right. And it will eventually go over to where you want it. If it doesn't, try a different tile location. There we go. That'll do for the moment. I'll even up everything later. I just want to stop it leaking. Or at least to leak in a safe direction. Like over there. Which is fine. I don't mind this thing disappearing into a mound. I'll just clean it out once this nightmare is over. Oh my. Okay, so crazy chaos is happening at the waste hopper. Nothing's happening in there. That one's cleaned up. Quick one over here. Because whilst we're at it, let's just have a little view of this area, because down the end there is a tunnel, which was what I was going to do next, but unfortunately it would appear that my experiment with the dumper screwed my game and I'm going to have to exit or something. But yeah, the tunneler is up at the face with this loader, and I'm nearly there. Like, I've only got a tunnel a bit further through to there, so... Oh, lag. So yeah, I've just drilled my way through a coal seam here, which is kind of nice. And further through, drilling away down at the end here, got the loader in as well. This is probably a stupid thing to do. Oh, look at the speed the head's moving. Oh, that's bad. 8 frames a second. Alright, getting into it now. It's digging, but... No, maybe it's not digging yet. So, get enough balls into the map and it would appear that tunnelers don't generate. Yeah, it's taking a half second or so for keys to respond at the moment, which is why you're seeing those parking brake warnings. Just trying to kick some of these lumps off of the loader. And it's trying to drop more on me. I want to be able to turn these collapses off. Someone tell the devs. Oh yeah, I've got an exclusive. I have an exclusive line to the devs, so perhaps I should tell him that that needs changing. Could have sworn there was a roller in that mix somewhere. There it is. Okay. Just go back up to the top and check that. Yeah, there is chaos happening here as well, in the fact that there are balls getting wedged up, so this thing must have probably exploded whilst I was away with stuff everywhere. Oh gosh, where did all that gravel come from? Okay, right, probably a good place to leave this mess of a video. Thanks for joining me, everybody. I'm gonna probably take a coffee break and let this finish cleaning its life up. That's insane. Maybe I should delete these shoots. Oh my word. But yeah, thank you all for joining me. I hope this has been in some way educational for you all when it comes to 345 ton dumper trucks. Oh dear God. What, why? It's okay, it's not so bad. It's not actually overflowing everywhere yet. If I could see, I'd actually extend this side of the hopper, but since I can't actually see any of the angles to do it, I can't put that on yet. But yeah, note to self, this hopper needs extending. I suppose, yeah, I could leave it filming and wait for it to start actually eating what's in this hopper, because like the machine isn't producing anymore. So yeah, technically there shouldn't be much dirt popping out here. So hopefully it should be being absorbed. It's not clogged. It's just sat here eating my frame rate. Like, what has happened? Like, is the storage module full? Is that why it's not drawing in? I suppose at a draw rate like that, then it's not going to come in so fast. But it's not completely overspilling either, so that's good. This area is eventually going to be part of a strip mine anyway, so all the landscape's going to come out, and that's why I'm building building in here, because it's going to need some support. Okay. I don't want that to occur. So put some of those in there. Like I've done this over on the gravel hopper and it works really well. Anything that just builds up in this angle just drops back in eventually, which is kind of useful. And that means that I can take out that one. Don't take out any of the machinery in the background whilst you're editing, by the way. That can be very bad. That one and that one can come away. Yeah, I'm changing my mind there. Course. Yeah, that will work. Just want to fill that gap in under there, like that. Over here, you can have a straight chunk of wall. So anything that spills over the top lands down there on the conveyors. Anything going out that way, yeah, I'm going to get an excavator in here at some point. Keep that over there. One less ball for the physics to have to calculate as it turns into dirt. Or at least you'd think. Are you going to pop into a piece of dirt? No, you're just going to make like Limp Biscuit and keep rolling. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, this is a bad day in JP's world. Bad day. Bad day. Mr. JP has screwed this up. Well, not really. I did the dozer experiment. So, lesson learned. Dumpers. Don't do this. But yeah. This will sort itself out. Just got to leave the game running and eventually all of this will be absorbed and disappear. Or you can save your game, quit, reload, all of these gone. No problem. Which might be the solution. But yeah. So thank you all for joining me, guys. Feel free to like, subscribe, leave a comment, whatever you want to do. It's been a pleasure having you. I hope you've learned something from this video. I certainly have. And enjoy the rest of your day. Look after yourselves. And it's the weekend. It's landing. Have a good one, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.